Hey guys, welcome to Business of Good Live here on Entrepreneur's Facebook page. So glad you can be with us. So in the Business of Good, we talk about how social entrepreneurs are disrupting business, government, and also charity. And I think too often when we talk about social entrepreneurship, we leave out the charity space, but not today. So we have the best guest you could have to talk about this. Scott Harrison's with us, the founder of Charity Water, an amazing guy, a hero to so many people. But you didn't start out that way.
Well, first of all, you gotta go a little easy.
No, but I mean, and I want to ask you to tell the whole story. But you've had a tremendous evolution, and you've made so many amazing things happen over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
When you
we have a great team.
Great team, but like, could you have imagined when this started? You know that Charity Water just had their 10-year anniversary this past fall. Could you have ever imagined this kind of impact? In that time.
The honest truth is that I thought we would have had a bigger impact.
No kidding.
I think, so we've now raised about almost $250 million, and not thanks to us, thanks to 1 million everyday, ordinary, generous people who said we can do something about the water crisis. Human beings shouldn't be dying of dirty water, and knowing that 100% of their money would go directly to these projects. So if I think about it, even back to 10 years ago, I mean, it's a pretty compelling idea, right? There are 660 million people dying of bad water. We know how to help them. And we've tried to create a business model where people know that every penny they give, whether it's $1 or $30 or $30 million, will actually go to the intended cause to helping people get clean water. So, I mean, honestly, I thought we would have helped. 7 million people. I thought we'd be at 70 million.
Wow.
And I think it's just we haven't been smart enough. We haven't been. We haven't. It's not that we haven't worked hard enough.
No, but something else has happened too over the last 10 years. First of all, it's 663 million today. It was over a billion.
That's right. So a lot of people have gotten access. So I think the awareness has really, we've been a part of that. A lot of great orgs out there doing work in the space. But water did not have its own Millennium Development Goal.
Right.
It was buried under environment 15 years ago. So now water has a global goal. It's a standalone goal. The UN has now kind of come out with the world and saying this is crazy. People should not be drinking dirty water. And we want to have zero water poverty in 2030. So yes, I think we've been a part of a wider story.
Right.
But in terms of direct impact, I would have thought we'd help more than 7 million people.
But it's still a lot of people, and there's more work to come. But think about the progress that's been made. A lot of problems over the last 10 years have gotten worse, not better. This is not one of them.
And this is true. And actually, this problem has gotten better even in an increased population. Right. So more people on the planet, but less people. So really, it's a huge achievement, and I think one of the biggest challenges for the organization is just getting people to care.
Yeah.
Because this issue does not affect people here. I mean, the people that are listening, today have probably never walked 8 hours with 40 pounds of disgusting water on their back. Parents have probably never held a child and watched the child die of diarrhea, at 4 years old. Because the kid drank swamp water. I mean, you have a 5-year-old, I have a 2-year-old and a 3-month-old, and the thought of giving my children death in a bottle or in a cup is so unconscionable, unthinkable.
Yeah.
But yet, no one here knows what that's like. These are problems that affect people 4,000 miles away across oceans. We know homelessness. We know cancer. We know problems with education in our country, and that's where so much of the money and the attention goes. So really, that's the biggest challenge of Charity Water, is getting people to care about this issue that doesn't affect them. I think once you do that, it's a pretty common sense, easy case to make. Nobody that I talk to thinks people should be drinking dirty water. And unlike so many problems, it is a very solvable problem that has a binary outcome. And that's the beauty. People are drinking clean water or they're not.
Yeah.
It's an on-off, yes, no, you've made an impact or you haven't. Education, a little grayer. You might say, well, how good are the schools? And what's the quality of the teachers? Water is clean or it's dirty.
But here's the thing. So you got to get them to care. And this leads perfectly into what I really wanted to focus on, which is how you've gotten people to care. Because it's very different from how charities operated really before Charity Water came along. Getting people to care meant guilt, shame, sad. And then you said, no, I'm not going to do that. you had a whole different concept. What I want you to talk about.
Well, I think, you know, some people might remember the Sally Struthers commercials, right?
Jeff's still crying over it. He saw it before earlier today.
They're actually effective. I mean, you know, the slow motion, the kids with flies landing on their face,
right.
And at that moment, as the kid lifts his eyes to look at the camera, the 800 number comes. It works. People give out of that, you know, sense of guilt and shame, but. You know, I really took a longer view of trying to build a brand 10 years ago. And, you know, I really admired Nike and I really admired Apple. And these people did not build brands based on, let me give you an example. Nike could have made people feel like crap about themselves for being overweight, not exercising enough, right?
Right.
Hey, you know, you lazy bum, get off the couch, stop eating Fritos, you know, go buy some of our swag and get out there and run.
Right.
But instead, you know, they've come up with these campaigns that are aspirational, right? They're calling forth greatness in people. You know, they're saying, you know, if you don't have legs, you can go run a marathon. You know, all of their messaging has been in really the positive. In there's an opportunity, you can do what you can achieve way more than you think you could. And I think we've tried to do that with the brand. So we've been focusing on the beautiful opportunity to give. Generosity is an amazing thing. It's a joy to give. We have this, you know, we try to invite people into an opportunity to serve others with this basic need in life in a very tangible, measurable way. And that should be fun. It should be a blast. It should be something that we do with a smile on our face, not in this kind of, just get that image off my screen, like whatever.
Take it. Just go. Yeah.
Yeah, and nobody wants to wear a T-shirt of a charity that, you know, that makes commercials like that. Nobody wants to go and really tell their friends about that giving experience. So
give us some examples of what Charity Water does that redefines how you can give in a way that makes you feel positive.
I think we stumbled onto this idea 9 years ago of asking people to donate their birthdays and reframe the concept of what it means to have a birthday. So for many of us, at least my whole life, the birthday was about me. Right. Time for stuff, right? Give me a wallet or, you know, I don't know, a gift card to Amazon or a tie or a pair of shoes or clothes. And then let me have a party and let me bring everyone around to celebrate me. So we thought, well, this is a great opportunity. What if we turn the whole thing on its head and we made our birthdays about others? That we don't need to spend money in or celebrate ourselves, but still involve our friends and our family and our community in an act of service. So I think the sticky marketing idea was the age in dollars. So I started my first birthday campaign when I was 32 and said, look, everybody I know has $32. If they came to a birthday party, they would spend that just on tip, even if it was open bar. You know, so $32 for my 32nd birthday, knowing that 100% of the money would go, and then people could see the photos and the GPS and the tangible proof of these projects. So that worked just on email. I wound up raising $59,000 for my birthday. And then the 7-year-old kid in Austin, Texas, hears about the story. He donates his 7th birthday, and he just asks for $7 donations. He raises $22,000. And, you know, Justin Bieber was 17 at the time. He tweeted 3 times asking his fans for $17 donations. He raised $50,000. This guy named Adam Lambert, who I'd never heard of, from American Idol, raised $320,000 with his birthday. So this idea really began to spread, and millions and then tens of millions of dollars were being raised by 7-year-olds and 89-year-olds. We had this beautiful 89-year-old donate her birthday and say that she wanted her birthday to make living to the age of 89 possible for others. Wow. You know, realizing she's lived double the life expectancy in some of these places. So that was one thing. And the great news is it was a lot of fun. Like, it's fun to see the donations come in. And honestly, if it's your birthday, I would much rather give you your age in dollars or $100 than figure out what to get you.
Sure.
And then be able to see what we did together, the impact of all of our donations. Other charities are doing that now, which is great. We want our ideas to be put into the world and used in the good.
Well, it's definitely clear that you're seeing others pick it up, which is great because
Heifer.
It's good.
Heifer recently. You guys know Heifer.org? They sell.
You guys explain this. You guys know this?
So
this is amazing.
Heifer.org for many years, you know, sells goats and sheep in catalogs. It's a great organization.
Amazing.
You sponsor a goat. They recently asked me to donate my birthday to Heifer. Like, we started doing that 9 years ago. Stay in your lane.
Oh, it's a good idea.
It actually feels great because there are a lot of people that are passionate about heifer and not about charity.
Yeah.
So that's great if this idea can just be a vehicle.
And others can use it and grow different platforms.
Exactly. We're all about it.
By the way, we'll be taking questions too. So if there are anyone has questions out there too, you can fire them away, and we'll ask some of them. But you talk about fundraising, which is you've done something really interesting because. When I was researching the book and we first sat down, you said to me, a lot of my friends didn't want to give because they didn't like what you called the charity black hole.
Black hole, yep.
And you said, we're not going to have that.
Yeah, so 42% of Americans distrust charities. 70% of Americans think charities are either bad at handling money or very bad at handling money. So you think about that, right? America specifically has this culture of generosity and a heritage handling money. And the most common objection is just, I don't know how my money,
where does it go?
Where does it go?
Yeah.
How much will actually reach people? And everybody seemed to have a scandal of some charity who had acted up and gone bad in their back pocket to say, look, this is why I don't give. Some crook, he hired his nephews and cousins and nieces. And, there was always enough of a charity scandal every few months to kind of give people a reason not to give. So we tried to solve that with a different business model, 2 bank accounts that are audited separately, where 100% of the public's money from day one, without exception, goes directly and only to fund clean water projects that give people clean water. And then only 116 wealthy donors pay for the overhead. So the office, the employees, the flights, the toner for our copier, the insurance, all that is paid for by 116 families.
And people are okay with that. They understand.
They know that it's going to that
zero goes to the field. I want to stress that because
a
lot of times people talk about this in the nonprofit space. They say, well, how much of my money is going to the field? And there are people who are giving here.
And zero money. Yeah. Your money is going to pay for the software engineer, for the rent, for the the phone bills, the electricity, the AC, the flights. Those 116 very generous, visionary families and founders have made it possible for 1 million people to have a pure giving experience.
Right.
So if you're one of the 116, and it's been the founders of Facebook and Spotify and Twitter and people, execs at Apple, people at Google, it's been a lot of the tech community has said, I actually get this. I want to do the hard thing. Let's bring this disenchanted group of people back to the table, tell them to take another look to water projects, and then raise their hand one day and say, actually, now I want to come over to the other side. Now I want to give and fund your next employee or your next
because they also
unsexy overhead cost.
And they understand that because you have that overhead cost, you can do more in the field eventually.
And we are still an efficient charity, and we've always gotten the very highest marks from every watchdog agency that's ever looked at us.
Right.
So even though our model, I guess you could argue, could be more inefficient because the public's money is going to the project, we're still really good stewards. It's really helped. I mean, that is the most common objection people have is all around money, and we've said, you never need to ask that question here. We even pay back credit card fees, Jason, which sounded like a great idea at the beginning, and now it costs us hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. But if you give $100 on your Amex, I wish Amex gave me all 100, but they don't.
If Amex is watching, maybe we can work on
Well, they say, if I do it for you, we'd have to do it for everybody.
Yeah.
But, we would get 97, let's say. We actually make up the difference. So I go and raise $3 from those 115 families to put it back together with your $97 donation because you intended to give 100. Then we send the 100 to the field, and then we track it. So it's 100% really
good. Yeah, 100%.
And I think nobody would even expect us to do that.
Right.
I didn't get 100 from you. I got 97 because you used your Amex. But we believe in just purity and simplicity of the model. So
it's amazing stuff. And so you really created a new charity playbook. And now you're doing it again with something called the Spring, which I think is amazing. And we're
trying.
We're going to try to grow the Spring today too. So let's talk about that for a little bit.
Okay, so one of the biggest challenges of the organization, really, for entrepreneurs that are watching, one of my biggest regrets is that we really built a one-time business, one-time organization.
For a birthday or for an event.
The birthday was great, and so many people did it, but you only do one birthday for Charity Water. We weren't seeing repeat.
Right.
You donate your birthday, and you might go on to Heifer the second year, or a health organization, or a cancer charity, but we weren't seeing. We would have to keep getting new people every single year. Same thing with those donors. 1 million people have given this organization once. Inspired, said, hey, this is great, 100% of my money goes. But we never really built either a repeatable revenue model or a subscription model or a membership model. So that is brand new. So as we turned 10, we said success over the next 10 years does not look like getting another million or 3 million people to give once. It's actually building a community, going deeper with people, getting them invested in this organization month in, month out, year in, year out. And the amount is less important, but it's actually that continuity that's more important. So we launched a new subscription program, membership program called The Spring. Very similar to a Spotify or Netflix or Hulu, except you get no value from it, and 100% of the money goes to help people get clean water. And we've anchored at $30 a month. So every $30, Charity Water can give one person clean water. And we said, look, it's $1 a day, or put it into terms of Starbucks or 2 Netflixes, or however you do that. But we thought there are a lot of people that could kind of go on autopilot for $30 a month and know at the end of the year 12 people got clean water. We got enough people to do that. We're making a huge impact, and we're not starting at zero January 1, having to make another 150 speeches and keep getting new people. So now, the question for us is, how do we innovate? What does it look like to be a subscriber and a member? And we're really excited about that. So we've got, our goal is 10,000 members. Post-launch, we're at 5,963. So we're almost at 6,000. It's kind of a simple idea. Now, organizations have built, the sponsor child model is probably the most successful model out there, where you pay $38 a month and you're keeping a child alive, at least so the organization says, for a period of years. We don't really have that. I mean, what we're doing is taking all this money, we're helping a bunch of people across a bunch of different countries get clean water. So we have all of these stories of hope and of clean water and of opportunity, but not that kind of one-to-one connection that's worked in the past. So we're really excited with that challenge. How do we innovate? How do we make this membership program in the spring so valuable that when you lose your credit card and your wife calls you and said, hey, Netflix isn't working, right? And you go on iChat and give it to her. Yeah. You also say, oh my gosh, I need to put in my new card member in the spring. I need to make sure that I stay connected to Charity Water. It's a huge challenge, and we're really excited. So the program's a couple months old. People could just go to charitywater.org/thespring. You can give with Apple Pay now. The checkout process is like 20 seconds from beginning to end.
And is it a year commitment?
It's kind of it's as long as we can keep you and add value, because we have people giving $5, which is the minimum, and we have people giving $100. So I think people aren't going to leave us because they can't afford. It's really they'll leave us if they get bored, or if we're not able to continually inspire them. So I would hope that this community grows and people stay and donate as they are able financially until the end of the water crisis. And then we can all celebrate a world when everyone is drinking clean water, hopefully in 10, 15 years in the future, and say we were all a part of this together.
You kind of put yourself out of business.
I think so. I mean, the question then is, do you then, what else might you do with water? Would you help people grow more food?
Yeah.
We've talked about, we have friends in drip irrigation who are, helping the farmers with pumps, grow 3 to 5 times as much food.
Right.
So I actually think, because you brought that up, a lot of people talk about charities going out of business, and this has kind of become this great, design yourself out of a job.
Yeah.
Great. So 15 years from now, we've done it. We're not going to all go work at Goldman Sachs.
Right.
We're not going to kind of say, great, now let's get rich. Let's figure out. I think what we would do is probably take that generous community that is educated and say, what else do you guys want to do?
Right.
How do we want to make sure that no one is going hungry tonight?
Right.
That no one is going to bed, with a leaky roof, watching their kids, shiver in the cold rain.
Yeah.
I don't think we would kind of drop the mic and say, oh, no need for... I think you would go find another basic need and take a generous community of people who trust the organization, who are values aligned, and say, what good could we do in the world together?
Well, that's
with
the
our
thing.
money, with our skills, with our passion and our ingenuity and our inspiration.
Because once people have clean water, it builds a whole host of things they can do they couldn't do before. That's education, healthcare, job training. You've opened up the door to really grow an economy.
And that's really true. I know that kind of sounds sometimes like
it is.
Water is health and education,
Yeah.
and it is really true. And now there's data behind this, and there are stories behind this of women who have the time back that they were walking 8 hours a day, and they are selling. I was just in Zimbabwe and Zambia this year with women who were selling rugs and selling them for $4 that they were making with their own hands. May not sound like a lot of money, but to them, it's a new income stream,
Right.
because they don't have to walk 50 hours. I mean, it's really 50 hours a week for some women, just completely wasted. 40 billion hours in Africa are spent just collecting water. Insane, inane waste of manpower, of woman power, of productive time, just back and forth to get water that's not even clean.
Right.
I mean, it's a terrible irony when you visit these communities and see how people are struggling and suffering. And in many cases, they're living on top of clean groundwater. There's water 200 feet beneath that is 100 times more plentiful than the community needs. And what they don't have access to is $1 million drilling rig and skilled hydrologists and technicians. So that's what we're able to do, and what we want to do more of. We've gotten really good at it over 10 years.
That's amazing. So 5,963 people in the spring. I'm going to be number 5,964.
Awesome, dude.
So I'm signing up today.
I'm already in. My wife's already in.
Who else is in? Who's watching right now?
All right.
We want to get more
McKenna's
people.
already in.
McKenna's in. We're going to get more people in. Jeffrey, any questions that we have? For anyone who hasn't filed any questions? So what we're going to do now is, because this is one of the most amazing, I see offices all day long. This is one of the most amazing offices I've ever seen. We want to give everyone a nickel tour because I think it says a lot about the organization and how you project the brand and marketing. And I think for entrepreneurs who are watching us, it's really instructive to see the space that you've created and what it says about the company and what you can do in a nonprofit.
Sure.
So we're going to try to do this. So we're going to pick up this camera here. Just give us a second. It'll be a little wobbly for a second, but we've rehearsed this, and so we'll have this all worked out here. And then we're going to just take the quick nickel tour of this office. And if you have any questions as we're walking, fire away.
Great.
You guys get
So we're gonna unentangle this guy.
yeah.
Are you carrying this
Can you
too?
get this audio? Or?
We can carry it if you want us to.
Sure.
We kind of got it?
You gonna carry the mic?
Goodness. Okay. So, where should we start?
We can just kind of do a big move. So this is we have 8 conference rooms here, so everything is in glass. It's transparency is a value of the organization. So
How many square
that's
feet?
important to us. About 22,000. This is in Tribeca, New York City. There's 76 full-time employees, about 20 interns at any given time. We have interns come through at 4 different points of the year. It's about 100 people in the office. And then a bunch of dashboards here. So Samsung was kind enough to donate about $50,000 of TVs throughout the whole office. So this is the spring program, the $59.63. The average subscription amount is $32, $32.90 a month. How people pay, a bunch of stuff there. This is some of the social. So our communities across Facebook and Twitter, where we've got 1.5 million followers, and Instagram. This is our virtual reality room. So we made a film in VR last year, so people will step into one of these kiosks and can put on the headset and experience what it's like to live in Ethiopia, both without clean water and then also to get it.
And I remember this was at the gala last year. Everyone dressed in formal attire, and no one minded getting their hair messed up if that's what it took.
400 people watched it at
Amazing.
the same point. This is the big conference room called the Armory, so they all have different names. These are all different parts of the fundraising website. So this is the birthday campaign site. So you can see 107 donations to people's birthday campaigns today for about $8,000 so far.
Does this get updated in real time?
Yeah, for a few minutes.
Wow, it's pretty neat.
Let's see, we've got production, design here, engineering.
As I walk around, it always feels more like a startup to me than anything else.
We're a 10-year-old startup. I'm sure you've heard that a lot. But we're still trying to figure out how to reinvent ourselves and come up with new, innovative ideas and products. This is the quiet lounge in here. This is the lab. So this is where we've been working on some of the sensor technology. So with now over 20,000 water points in 24 countries, we know where they all are. We put the photos in GPS up on Google Earth and Google Maps so people know where they are. Now, over the last few years, we've really wanted to know the real-time functionality of these projects, even though they're in the middle of nowhere in many cases.
Is this from the Google grant?
Yeah, so Google awarded us a $5 million grant, worked with 20 different labs, started developing sensors that we are now retrofitting many of our thousands and thousands of our water points with these sensors. We can make them for only about $100, protecting a $10,000 asset. And then we know now how much water is flowing across these projects. Right. So we've got 3,000 sensors currently chirping. This is a kind of a shell of the pipe sensor that we're rolling out in Nepal over the next couple months across the projects there. So in Nepal, we don't drill wells. We do these huge gravity-fed systems where we cap mountain springs and we take the clean water down to these communities. So we'll cut the pipe, throw in the sensors, and we'll know that they are working as well. So this is pretty cool stuff that's happening here. A guy named Robert who's been working on this for the last 3 years. Okay. This is we have kind of a bunch of these phone booths here, which is where our team will jump in and talk to Africa, India, Asia. A lot of the partners, the conversations happen there, quiet.
This space always fascinated me when I first came to the office.
We have a ping pong table.
Yes, you don't see it every...
It's a little luxury. We've got a pool and a ping pong table. They actually built that for us at cost because we asked them, and no charities ever asked for ping pong tables to be donated. So we have a maternity room there. This is kind of the common space.
Wait, hold on. A maternity room.
We have a lot of we have some moms here.
So they need a room, and they got it.
That's right.
Again, it's the kind of space you don't see it.
This is kind of the common space. So we'll host events here. We'll have a speaker series. So we've had people like Simon Sinek and Brene Brown and Neil from Warby Parker, a bunch of local business leaders who will just come in and talk about their startups or their nonprofits, engage in a conversation. We'll often bring people from our community in for that. And let's do the entrance.
Let's check this out. This wall I also like too.
Yeah, so we did a campaign where a lot of our community members just came up with crazy things to do to raise awareness and money. Dancing on the subway for 30 days straight, 1,400 jumping jakes, so this must have been a young kid, doing burpees, 20,000 steps a day, shaving people's heads, carrying full jerry cans to work. It was a pretty cool campaign that raised about $1.5 million.
Amazing. Although I see one big sacrifice at the top. Give up coffee for 1 month.
Give up coffee for a month. That was not me. Someone rode a roller coaster 50 times in a row, which actually doesn't sound like fun.
No, it's
the first few times sound like fun. There's a coffee bar here. It's a world map, so this is where a lot of again, we've worked historically over 24 countries. We're active in 13 countries this year. And I'll take you to the front. One of the most...
Now we're in the front of the office when you first come in here.
So we have a welcome card that we may be out of that talks about all the people that have donated to make this office possible.
Is it on the wall too?
It is, yeah. So we've got over 20 different sponsors. So when we're not out of them, every single person that walks in the office is given a card.
Right.
So they know that over $1 million was donated of furniture, of IT equipment, televisions, like I mentioned, from Samsung. To make a really beautiful headquarters, and then people don't hold it against us. And they say, "Hey, that's great."
Right, my money didn't go.
Yeah, well, of course, the public's money never ever goes to anything like this. Yeah. But even our 115 families that support the overhead, their money was augmented by people who donated lighting fixtures and couches and rugs and TVs and desks, you name it. Even the architects did everything at half price, and then they made a $50,000 donation. So I think they came out behind after the whole thing. So it was a really, really amazing group of people. And then, of course, the well is kind of the first feature here at the office.
First come in.
This has got a sensor on it. And, we have a kids tour where there are 10 different stations. I think this pumps might need to be primed. I think it needs to be primed first. Yeah, it's just a closed system. But we'll have kids come in, and there's 10 different stations they can go to and fill out a passport. And as they go through all 10 stations, it unlocks a $30 donation on their behalf.
And then it also gives them, because you said this is foreign to everyone, so even adults have no concept of what this is or what this is like, so it gives everyone a real granular experience with it. So.
Exactly.
Very cool. Scott, thanks so much for today.
Of course,
it's amazing. Man. Great seeing you again.
Good seeing you.
Check out charitywater.org. Join the spring, and I hope you learned a lot today about how you can make a difference and learn from the best. So thanks again for tuning in today, guys. We'll see you again soon.
Thanks, Jason.